Hey everybody, today what we're going to be talking about is transformations of polygons. So if you remember, polygons are any shape with 3 or more sides. So what we're going to be doing with our shapes is we're going to be transforming them. We're going to be moving them. So we're going to start out with our original shape, and then we're going to talk about 3 different types of movements that you can have with your polygons. So I went ahead and cut out some polygons. So here's our first one. This is going to be our original. So we know this is a polygon because it has more than 3 sides. Okay, it has some angles. So what we're going to be doing is moving our polygon. So the first one we're going to do is called translation. Now in the word translation, right in the middle, we have an SL. Now SL is going to help us because we can think SL and translation means slide. So when we transform this polygon, sliding it, here's my original, and it's simply going to slide in a direction. So it still looks the same, it's just moved positions. So again, slide, the shape moves. It can go left, it can go right, it can go up, or it can go down. So that one's easy. So translation, SL, slide. It's just going to slide in a direction. All right, the next one is reflection. So when you think about your reflection in the mirror, it's still you in the mirror, but it's in the opposite direction. So when you're reflected, think about this FL, because this FL is going to tell us we're going to be flipping. So here's my original shape, and it's going to flip to be a reflection. So think about if this line was a mirror, it would be reflected. So it's the same direction, it's just facing the opposite way. So my flip is going to flip across an invisible line, which we call an axis. So if you think about when you learned about symmetry, you have your axis of symmetry. It's going to be flip-flopping across that line. All right, our last one is rotation. So when we rotate, think about when we rotate in our small groups, we move from one area to the next. So when our shape rotates, here's our original. So I'm going to move my original. When it rotates, it's going to be turning on a given point. So if I hold the middle, this is going to be a rotation. Okay? So here's my original, and I'm just going to rotate it. I'll rotate it there. So rotation, all we're doing is turning. So this turns at a given point. And that point would just be where I held my finger. So my shape has just rotated. All right, so now let's practice a couple together. So my first shape is a triangle, and the dot right here is just telling me which way that it's oriented. Okay, so these are going to be my originals. So the first one I'm going to do is a translation, and translation means slide. So I'm simply going to slide my shape over into this box. So it's still going to be in the same direction. My marker is going to be in the same spot. It's just moved over. All right, my next one, if you remember, is reflection. Reflection, my key here is the FL for flip. So I'm going to flip my shape. Now, if you notice, this marker is slightly to the left in my triangle. It's closer to the left side than it is to the right. So I'm going to flip over my invisible line. And now, instead of being close to the right, if I put a mirror up to this, it's going, closer to the left. If I put the mirror up to it, now it's going to be closer to the right. And then my last one is rotation. So again, in my rotation, I'm just going to turn my polygon. So I'm going to shift it. I'm going to leave this point the same, pretend that I'm holding my finger there and turning it. So I'm just going to turn it here, and my dot is going to stay towards this side of the polygon. So now what I want you to do is try this one on your own. So on a piece of paper, or if you have a tablet or a computer that you can draw on, draw an arrow facing down with the dot on the left-hand side and see if you can translate, reflect, and rotate that shape.